Good morning and welcome to another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT, where we spend 15 minutes helping you create a movement habit. Today, we're going to start off with our hip cars. We're going to do hips and spine, lying on our side. Hands are going to be clasped together. We're going to go through our full range of motion of our hip, nice, slow, and controlled. So we're going to pull our knee to our chest here into hip flexion. We'll open up into abduction, slowly pointing that knee to the ceiling. Then we're going to internally rotate, trying to rotate that ankle behind the knee. You're going to feel this tissue on the lateral side of your hip, pressing back into extension, dropping down to midline and knees together. And then we'll reverse, pressing the knee back into extension, pulling that knee up and pointing it towards the ceiling. Externally rotating, pointing the knee to the shoulder, pulling the knee to the shoulder, return to midline, knees together. We're going to do 3 reps here. Again, going into hip flexion, opening up into abduction, internally rotating, get that foot or ankle behind the knee, pressing back into extension, squeeze your glute, dropping down to midline, knees together, and reversed. Extension, pressing the knee back, pulling that knee up towards the ceiling, externally rotating, pulling the knee to the shoulder, return to midline, knees together. And again, pulling the knee to the chest, opening up into abduction, internally rotating, pressing that knee back into extension, return to midline, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together. We'll flip over to the other side. Hands clasped together. Slowly pulling that knee towards your chest. It's hip flexion. Opening up into abduction. Internally rotating. Get that ankle behind the knee. Press that knee back. Drop it down to midline. Knees together and reverse. We have extension, abduction. Really trying to get that knee up, pointed towards the ceiling. External rotation, flexion, pull that knee to the shoulder, return to midline, knees together, and we'll start again. Flexion, abduction, open up as much as you can, really trying to carve out a range of motion here. Internal rotation, feel that tissue on the side of your hip as you press back into extension, dropping down to midline, knees together, and reverse. Extension, pressing it back as far as you can. Abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together. We have one more here. Flexion, abduction, internal rotation, extension, adduction, knees together, and reverse with extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together. Okay, we're going to come up. We're going to do our thoracic spine cars. Again, one we commonly do in our classes, taking our thoracic spine to its full range of motion. You can be in this kneeling position. You can sit in a chair. You can do it standing. I prefer the kneeling position because it keeps our hips stable so they don't compensate for a lack of movement in our spine. We're going to put our hands on our shoulders, starting off by pulling the rib cage down into flexion. Then we're going to rotate, turning on axis, turning the shoulders to the side, dropping the shoulder down to the side. Feel a stretch through here, extending up, rotating to the other side, dropping that elbow down to the hip in lateral flexion, and then coming back around in front, back to neutral, and we'll start again. We'll do 3 in each direction. Flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extending up, rotating the other direction, dropping that elbow down to your side, coming back around in front, and back to neutral. One more time here. Flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extension, rotating the other direction, dropping down, rotating back around in front. Now we'll do 3 in the other direction. Tucking the rib cage down, turning those shoulders to the side, get as much rotation as possible. Laterally flexing, dropping the shoulder down, now extending up, flaring that rib cage, rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down to the hip, and coming back around in front. Back to neutral. We'll start again. Flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, tip that shoulder down, extend up, rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down to the hip, and coming back around in front. Back to neutral. We'll do one more. Flexion, rotation, dropping the shoulder down into lateral flexion, extend up, rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down to the hip, and back around in front. Next, we're going to go to hip rotation. We're going to go into our 90-90 position. We're going to rotate our femur in socket, having 90 degrees at the front leg, 90 degrees at the back leg, hands behind you. Turn towards that back leg, lifting that knee up as actively as possible. You're going to feel a pinch in your hip here. And then actively pressing it down. That's one. I want you to be in control the whole time here. Slowly pulling that knee up, externally rotating the hip. Feel that pinch, get as far as you can, and coming back down. The whole time we do this, this knee is on the ground. Try not to lift it up. Here we go, coming back up. Pull open as far as you can, and then actively pressing back down. That's 3. Again, coming up. Open, open, open. Coming back down. That's 4, and we'll do one more. Back up. Pause. And actively pressing down. We'll flip over to the other side. 90 degrees in the front leg, 90 degrees in the back leg. Turn towards that back leg. And here we go, opening up. Feel that pinch. And actively pressing down. Again, in this exercise, we're working on the joint capsule of the hip, the connective tissue that holds the hip together. We are trying to rotate it and create space in the hip. Opening up, actively pressing down. That's 2. Again, opening up. Get that knee as high as you can. Try to get a little bit more every time. And back down. That's 3. Again, coming up. And down. That's 4. We have one more. Coming up. And back down. Excellent. Next, we're going to lie on our side, and we're going to stretch out our obliques. So this will be lateral flexion of the spine. We're going to have one leg, our bottom leg straight. Our other leg is going to come over top. We're going to place our hands down. We're going to come here, coming up as high as we can, stretching out the side of our ribs and our core muscles called our obliques. You're going to come up as high as you can. Feel that stretch and back down. We'll do 5 reps here. So turning to the side, coming up, feel that stretch, push away from the ground and back down. This bottom leg is going to be relatively straight here. Coming up, push away from the ground, pause, and back down. We're going to do 5. This is number 2. Coming up, look up, stretch that whole chain and down. Deep breath in. Coming up, this is 3. Again, deep breath in. Coming up, look up. That's 4. And 1 more. And 5. We'll turn over to the other side. So one of the keys in this one is that back leg is going to be straight, and we're almost going to roll over on our hip as we push away from the ground. Okay, 5 reps here. Deep breath in. Pull that rib cage up, look up. That's 1. Again. It's 2. 3, you should feel a big stretch right from the hip all the way up to the armpit. Deep breath in. That's 4. And 1 more. And 5. Excellent. Next, we're going to go into our frog pose. This is one we haven't done in our classes. We're going to start off by spreading our knees as far apart as possible, trying to create a 90-degree angle from our femur to our tibia or shin. So from here, we're going to push the hips back. When you do this, I want you to stay in extension. Try not to round your spine like this. We're going to stay in extension. We're going to press the hips back. You're going to feel a pinch in the joint of your hip, and I want you to actively press down into your ankle. You're pressing them into the ground as hard as you can. We're going to hold, and then we'll come forward. That's 1. We'll do 5. Pressing hard into the ankles, pushing the hips back, keeping the spine in extension, and forward. That's 2. The more force you produce, the better result you will get. Pressing back, pressing hard into the ankles, put the spine in extension. That's 3. Again, pressing into the ankles, pushing the hips back. That's 4. And 1 more. Pressing hard into the ankles, push the hip back. Keep that spine in extension. And that's 5. Excellent. Next, we are just going to do lateral flexion. So we'll come back into our thoracic spine position or thoracic spine car position. Hands are going to be on the shoulders here. We're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to laterally flex. So we're just going to drop our shoulder down to our side and push our rib cage out. You're going to feel a nice stretch there. And back up. We'll do 5 each side. We'll do all one side, then the other. Deep breath in. Dropping the shoulder down. That's 2. Again. 3. 4. And 1 more. 5. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more, 5. And that is another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT. Thank you for joining. If you liked the class, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you tomorrow.